Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. And welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. And this episode is brought to you by some great partners of mine. First of all, Panels, Comics and Coffee Bar here in beautiful Oceanside, California, right off of Mission Avenue. They have some great coffee, great treats, and some of the hottest comics and graphic novels out right now. If you're a comic book fan, I've actually been reading X of Swords. So that's been the newest X-Men storyline. So if you get a chance, check that out. You can check them out at panelscoffee.com, or you can go to Panels Coffee for more information and check them out on Instagram or Facebook. Also, if you mention the Creative Brew, you'll get 10% off your next purchase. Another sponsor of mine is Astropad, and if you're a digital creator like me, Astropad actually turns your iPad Pro into a professional graphics tablet, so you actually have increased functionality. So I get to use all of my favorite programs like Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, right from my iPad Pro, right from the comfort of my home. And I can, with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth access, I can literally work from my living room or work from my bedroom, and I'm still working right from my computer. So it's been a great asset for my digital workflow. So you can go to astropad.com for more information, or you can go to Astropad Co. and check them out. And another sponsor of mine is Elevate Coffee Trading, that's based out of the Dallas, Texas area, and they're looking to extract hope with every drop. So they actually have a coffee subscription, and as well as merchandise and other things that they got going on. But they have a great mission, a great vision for what they're doing with their brand, and helping villages in Guatemala, and honestly helping them out, and really giving back and supporting them. So if you want to check out their mission, check out the story, buy some coffee. Go to elevatecoffeetrading.com and check them out today. And my last partner is Cobo Pod, and they've been a great partner of mine for pretty much, I think, most of the year, maybe half the year. But it's a boutique audio and video studio here that's here in Oceanside, California. They have 4K video. They have awesome audio. They have a photographer on standby. Really an all-in-one production monster. Now I find myself just being able to just create, and Cobo Pod can do the rest. So if you're interested in booking a session today, or you're thinking about, hey, maybe I want to up my podcast game, hey, check them out. You can go to cobopod.org to book your first session. So today we have another Roundhouse episode here, and this is something that I've by popular demand, I've had people wanting to do this. So I guess I'm going with, man, this is probably version 3 of the Roundhouse, and today I've got my buddy Logan, and like I said, he's always a regular, and I may have to kick him off for the next roundtable here, but I don't know. I find myself sort of bringing him back on. I don't know.
Keep me in the game, coach.
Yeah, I know. And then we have Reese, that she is a absolute creative monster. She has her tattoo business, and she's got a huge Instagram following, and I find myself, honestly, I'm trying to copy everything she's doing right now.
We're all trying to be like Reese, bro.
But she's got her own podcast going. That's actually the Mind of Reese. And then we got my boy Kano. Man, I'm telling you, this is I've been wanting to get him back in here. This is my brother. And like I said, he's actually got his own podcast, Caffeine and Green, but he's actually converted it into really to a lifestyle brand. He's finally, got his own coffee brand, merchandise, and I know he's starting to sponsor fighters and stuff now.
Yep.
So it's sort of cool. I love hearing that story, because it's always cool to sort of see his beginning and see where like I said, I know I've been on your podcast before. And I know personally, your transition and everything that's transpired, and you sort of rebuilding yourself, and now you're really sort of going into Kano version 2.0.
Dude, yeah, real talk.
So, man, I'm telling you, it's yeah, and that's personally from man, like just seeing you, I'm like, man, I'm glad, like I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the Roundtable episode, so it'll be a few little topics that we talk about, and like I said, we may just stay on one topic and go from there. But yeah, obviously, like I said, I'm glad and definitely in gratitude for y'all, being able to do this. And so we'll go into the sort of first line of questioning, and this is something that I've actually been reading. It's actually a book. I'm real big. If you know me, I'm real big into a lot of sci-fi, spirituality, just a whole mix of things, and probably actually the last book I've been reading. It's called the Field, and really it's based off of an old book, but it talks about your interconnected energy in the universe and what they call it. I'm actually researching that. I'm researching that for my book that I'm working on, but I find myself intrigued by a lot of different concepts, and it might be a question. Well, the question that I pose, and everybody can sort of free to answer, is it alluded to an experiment, and I spoke on this Wednesday after my wrestling practice, and it was a doctor, I believe it was Dr. Haas or Dr. Huff. I'm gonna be mad because I don't remember it now, but it was a experiment. Yeah, I know it was an experiment in the 1920s, I believe, and just working with electromagnetism. And he did an experiment on a salamander egg, and he found out that there was a energy field around that salamander egg. Everybody has a specific energy field, but what was more intriguing was that it actually held the energy field of an adult salamander. So he, surprised by that, he actually did an experiment with humans, vegetation, just all kinds of other living organisms, and found out that the energy field actually held the field of what it would be, what it would become. So I think that's the question I sort of pose, is where you're at right now. Did you ever feel like this would, getting to where you are right now, personally, professionally, and this is for everyone, did you ever feel like you would be at this point, or do you feel like this was a sort of a natural culmination? Slowly but surely, did you feel like you were heading to this direction? And that might be something that, anyone can sort of free to answer on that.
I'm living in a dream, man. That's the downright flat out truth. I don't know how I got here. I mean, physically speaking, I know what it took, and it was just hustling, man.
Yeah.
It was just hustling every day and waking up for that hustle, and I do it now.
It's so funny. For me personally, I've been journaling for a really long time, and it's always like projection of what you want, and you create vision boards and things like that. And there have been times when I've gone back into those journals and I'm doing exactly what I said I wanted to do and more. And I find that there are things, and it might just be because I've put that thought and that vibration out there, so to speak, or energy out there, that kind of, when you vibrate on the same wavelength as something else that you want called to you. And this is my own way of thinking about this, and this is like law of attraction type deal. For me, it's like, yeah, maybe I did call it to me, or maybe I did see myself as this person and then worked my way backwards from the person I was to the person I am now. Yeah. And so I don't know, like I personally don't think like I watched every step and was like, this is the exact step I'm supposed to take in order to get to this point. Yeah. But I do think that if I think back, I'm like, this isn't exactly where I thought it was going to be, but it definitely feels where I want to be. And it's, I don't know if that's the same thing or if it has anything to do with each other, but I don't know. I think that kind of energy you put out there, you're going to get back in some sort of way. And so I think that would be my answer to your question.
As a baby salamander, do we know what we want?
That's,
You-
it's true.
You know
if
what?
the energy exists.
It's almost it's a trick question. It's one of those to where honestly, I really think that we actually come in with all the answers. And a lot of times I think we sort of forget, and then we go through our progression of life figuring out certain things that we want, things that we do want, things that we don't want. And I think, I think if you're on that path, I think slowly but surely you get revealed your answers, or perhaps the things that you forgot. But I think a lot of times we come in with everything that we're already supposed to be built for. It's just one of those where, even with, I mean, just give an example, even with Reese, I mean, I'm sure, and I remember from your story, you were on the opposite path of the creative spectrum, from when we last talked, and now going into tattoo art. I think that was something that was sort of already in you. I think it sort of took figuring out what you didn't want to see what you did want.
Yes.
And I think that goes for everyone.
And it's funny what you're saying is that when I did make the transition from being an accountant to doing art, as I was growing up, there was only one thing that was stopping me from getting into art or being very creative, and it was just because me and my brother were so close in age that my family, they didn't mean to pin us against, compare us, I suppose. But I was very good at school and sports, and he was very good at art. And so I was like, we always made a pact between each other that we would never kind of step on each other's toes so we can have our own thing. Because, it's like, why can't you get better grades or something like that? And they don't mean to. It's just more like, hey, like, we just want you to do better, that kind of thing. And so, but I always felt an innate feeling or want towards painting. I can remember it like at 12 that I always wanted to be creative in some sort of way, but I never touched it, not one time. Yeah. And maybe the closest I got was photography class, and I hated that class. I was not good at that. So, but then after a while, I mean, it like kept jumping onto my doorstep of like trying to get into these classes, and things would flash, but I would never jump on the opportunity. And then one day I'm in my full-time job as, an accountant for a private firm, and all of a sudden they're like, let's do a wine and paint night. And I'm like, that sounds like fun. I've always wanted to paint. And all of a sudden, there it is. And I'm like, sayonara, accounting. Like, let's go on this fine art journey. Quit my job.
Damn, that's what it took? Yeah. Just one class?
One class. I sold my first painting for like $2,000 that night. God damn. That was the only time I sold a painting for that much money. I'll tell you now. It's been 12 years, so that's the only.
That's a lot.
And I actually think he was trying to date me. So thank you.
No, it don't matter. Yeah, whatever that guy says. Yeah, that's what's popping.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, it did spur me forward to jump into that train, and a totally different avenue. And everybody, my family included, were not happy. But I had a vision, and I was like, I know I'm gonna do this, and so it just happened. But I feel you on that. Like, it feels like we know already. We just don't know consciously, perhaps.
What about you, Connor?
Did I know where I was going to be? Sorry. Damn, I was just like so invested in what you guys were saying. I was just listening. To be honest, I do kind of feel like I've always known that I was going to be in coffee, regardless. It started when I was super young. Some of my earliest memories were my mother teaching me how to make her coffee. And she had this huge vanity. It was just like massive. And she'd be like, sweetie, this is how you make coffee. And then you bring it to mom. And I'd be like,
that's what's up.
All right, tight. So that was like 5 years old. And that's pretty much how
that is amazing.
That
is amazing.
Dude, yeah. That's what my mom did. And then it was like my grandmother, my grandmother's 93 years old. She's like still kicking. She's killing it. But it's very much a part of like our life still to this day. I'm Mexican. I'm half Mexican. Come from a very traditional Mexican family. So like when I go to my grandma's house, mijo, can you get grandma some coffee? Like, yeah, grandma. Like, you want some pan dulce? Yeah, whatever. But it's like, it's a big part of my pops. It's a big part of my mom's and like my grandmother. So it's like, and my grandmother and my mom are like very, very big in my life. So I always kind of knew. But much like yourself, Reese, corporate. I did corporate for a little bit, and I did not work in corporate. Yo, I just like, I had a director of operations tell me once, she was like, "You're too spicy. You need to like," she's like, "never lose that fire, but like, you are not built for corporate." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know how y'all just sit in here and do these damn like I can't. I get so flabbergasted. Like, I don't understand how people work it like this. Like, I can't do it because my father is an artist. He went to the Florence Academy of Art. He like did portraits and stuff like that. So he's very, very amazing. Like, best painter I've ever seen in my life, ever. And then my mom, she's a professional photographer and like does other stuff. And my brother's a musician. So it's like me, I was like, I suck at all these things. Like, I don't know what, like, I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I found skateboarding. And so it was like, skateboarding was definitely, I think, like looking back in hindsight, like I wanted to be a pro skateboarder or anything. You know, I dropped out of Penn State to pursue skateboarding, and it like led me to a lot of other things. But it also kind of has led me to exactly where I'm at. Like I had mentioned, I also work for Steel Mill up the street, and in congruence with owning my own coffee roasting company.
Right.
But it's like Riley Hawk, Shay Cooper, all these people, they're all skateboarders. And I met Shay, one of the other owners, through coffee. Yeah. One of the other owners met him through skateboarding and coffee. So it's like things have started to have like a domino effect. And it was like they all were interlinked from the beginning, whether it was skateboarding, whether it was coffee, whether it was martial arts, because me and Quantal have rolled before. Like I love jiu-jitsu. I do Muay Thai. That's what like got me through COVID. And then I'm a part of a fight team, so I fight a lot. But it's, I don't know. It's just all of it has kind of like domino affected into like my later in my life, where it's like, but these were the things that were constant. So it's like to answer your question with that long-winded answer, it's like, yeah, dude, I think it kind of all was like already laid out for me. I just had to find the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
did you have to find the way though?
I think it just kind of like laid itself out, but it's also what I was looking for. Like, you know, skateboarding led me into videography and editing, and that's what I do a lot as well. And then photography, my mother taught me. My mom put a camera in my hand when I was like,
she's like, coffee and photography here.
Yeah. Dude,
already had a head start.
Dude, my mom gave me a VX2000 when I was like 12 or 13 years old, because she worked in Hollywood. My mom worked in the movie business.
Wow.
And so she was like, do you want a camera to film your skateboarding friends? Like, I see that they have cameras like this. And I was like, yeah, let me get that. Like, yo, hey, thanks, Ma. And then she would be like, here's the aperture, here's this, here's that. And it was like, cool. And I sucked compared to all my friends, so I would film. And then it was like, then it like all like kind of just went through the way. Like,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's and see, I think you just proved some, just brought up some great points where, you know, we already have like certain things sort of laid out for us, and we find ourselves thinking that we know the answers, and we find ourselves sort of resisting, and we get in certain situations, or we get in opportunities to where it's not who we are. And I'm not gonna say this is not a PSA to say, hey, quit your job, follow your passion. I'm not saying that per se, but I think a lot of times when, whoever you believe in, a creator, God, a higher source, they're saying, hey, Logan, look, this is what I have planned for you. I don't need you to go this direction. Same thing with Kano, same thing with Reese, but we find ourselves saying, well, I think I know the way. I think I know the answers. I'm going to go this direction. And we find ourselves just button up against who we innately are. And from what I've heard, like I said, we've got some, creative, some creative gods in here. Even Logan, we're still bringing you over to the dark side slowly but surely.
That's funny.
You got Peyton, you got Dave. So slowly but surely we're bringing you over. So
I'm dead. The dark side.
Yeah,
Can we elaborate what that even means?
Well, I would like to say that I am so ready to hear your answer to this question.
I'm so excited to understand.
Honestly,
it a bit more.
because I'm interested in this topic. Actually has my mind racing, bro. Because my connection to where I am today, versus where I thought I might be or where I would want to be or aspire to be. I never, even to today, have I understood what that looked like or had a vision of what my future looked like. It was, it's so interesting that you bring this up in this context, because I find it that it's like definitely hit me on the chin, you know, a good one, a good knock, like, bro, wake up. But in my mind, like, I've been trying to not be something rather than to be something, right? If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I've been trying not to be weak, not to be poor, not to be unemployed, right? All the things. And then in order to not be that, you have to be something else, which is capable, prepared. Boy Scout motto, right?
Yeah.
Always be prepared. So that's what I've been conditioning myself and training myself to be prepared for whatever it might be that's next, and say yes to fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. That is what I am absolutely convinced of in our physical form of life. I am convinced that this life is a numbers game. You got to kiss a lot of frogs. You got to find a prince. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to date however many people it takes to find your wife for some people, or your husband.
Yeah.
And in other cases, sometimes it's your high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
But I think whether it's the hand we're dealt, or whether it's, as Reese was explaining before, kind of a manifestation of events where, you know, one thing led to another, and I can tie it back to the conversation or this painting class or coffee with Ma or something of that nature. When I think about that, nothing really sticks out to me, and so I'm trying really hard, you know what I mean? In this moment, hearing the common response is that folks have kind of can tie back where they are today. And I guess I feel like kind of a loner on that, in that sense, where not necessarily misguided, but no guidance.
Yeah.
So I'm having to sort of play it moment by moment by moment, and making the executive decision in each moment to just say yes to what I hope is the highest probability of a successful journey.
Yeah.
I think that's the energy that I carry with me from the egg
Yeah.
of the salamander.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Beyond the interaction with others, not that. I find it to be what makes me who I am is the yes,
Yeah.
the go, the hustle. And I have no fucking idea how I got here. I'm being dead honest.
Well,
Dead honest.
I actually think that you do. You literally just said it. You said yes to everything.
Yeah.
Well,
So
but that's
you literally made decisions, and
Right.
what didn't feel good, you're like, well, that didn't feel good. I'm going to say yes to this other thing. That felt good. Let's continue on that.
what I mean by what I say is there was never a plan.
I would say there wasn't either.
Right.
Yeah.
Like never was there, I'm going to do this. Like I did say I needed a degree. I just picked one.
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Same.
Yeah.
Like I just
Yeah.
picked one, and it was hard. But where I ended up today, where we end up today, like you said, you were in accounting, and then you end up in art. Not only art, like you're not just an artist.
Right.
Like you have more art out there in the world than most artists that will be in museums for generations to come.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even made more money in your living life than most artists before they died.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Mhm.
that's some pivotal shit in a lifetime. On art.
I know. And when I think about it, you know, you just literally drop it down to the littlest thing, and it's like I pay my bills plus so much more with my art. And that would make me a successful artist. But yet what you can also say too is that I'm also getting into education, and I never would have thought that either. However, it's not even artistic education. I'm not teaching people how to tattoo. I'm teaching people how to market their tattoos, which
Yeah.
is something on a business spectrum. But if you would ask me when I was in fine arts school, I thought there was no way I was going to get into tattooing and all this stuff. So I was like, I'm going to get my master's in fine art and teach art history one day.
Yeah.
And that was the place I was going to go because I was like, I want to be a fine artist full time. I don't want to go back to accounting. But I got my way into tattooing and then stuck with tattooing for 8 years. And then now I'm feeling like the educational side is being pulled out of me and I'm feeling really, really called to it all of a sudden. Like I could have never thought that, but I can also choose and pick things from my past that maybe have made, oh, well, you know, I do like teaching. I did like that. That was a path. And I think that in some ways you can either say where you are right now and pick and choose things from your past to say, hey, this could have, woulda, could have, you know, morphed me or produced this thought in me, and maybe that's the reason why I'm here today.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go about it the other way where Logan, he's like, I have no clue how I got here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I'm not going to chalk it up to anything.
Well, I agree.
I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing now. I have
Maybe-
no idea what I do.
Maybe you're doing everything.
That's what I'm saying.
This
I have
boy,
no
he
idea.
tells me I don't sleep. Kid gets home at 2 a.m., leaves at 6
Oh.
a.m. I'm like,
I know he doesn't sleep because
I got in trouble
texts
for
me.
that shit.
he did get in trouble. What are you doing? Why are you waking me up right now?
Anyway, Quantal, I want to know what your answer is. What's
Yeah.
your salamander energy field carrying around?
Oh man, honestly,
I love this.
Yeah.
honestly, I think just being you know what, honestly, I think I've always wanted to be, I tell my wife this, that honestly, I really didn't want to be like a artist per se. I've always wanted to be a scientist. I've always been, you know, influenced and just, I love sci-fi, I love science, I love chemistry. I love biology, and I've always been, you know, excited about that. And I tell my wife, I was like, if I wasn't ever like a creator or a graphic designer, like I would want to be a researcher and create my own theories. So I find myself figuring out how do I merge everything together. And I think that's honestly, I think that's been, you know, my energy is just figuring out how to become a, you know, I'm just a seeker of knowledge. I love it. And I will keep searching and keep figuring out ways to, you know, find something new and then see if I can implement that in my life and give that to others.
You know what
My
I
dude.
find funny about that is, not to interrupt you, babe, but is that, don't you think that there is some sort of amalgamation there of science and creativity that you bring out?
100%. That's
yeah.
what I was about to
Because-
say. You
because
are a scientist.
I totally agree. I
In every
totally
capacity.
agree. Because at the same time, that even the question you just asked right now is very scientific, analytical in that realm, but then you make it creative because you create characters behind these ideas, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's funny because I think about this and people are like, how did you transition from accounting to tattooing? And I tattoo realism. And I think about math and realism. It's either, in math, it's either yes or no. It's either right or wrong.
Mhm.
And in a portrait, it's either it looks like the person or it doesn't. So it's very analytical, mathematical in my own way. So that's how I can kind of describe it.
Yeah.
And that's how I would kind of put in your, I wouldn't say that I'm not putting words in your mouth or anything like that, but that's how I would kind of describe the way you speak and the way you create as well. So I don't know. I think you are definitely a scientist. It's because you don't have like do you have a degree in science?
I wish. I keep telling my wife, I was like, I feel interested, like I would be interested in like going back to school and like trying to get a degree in like quantum physics or something like that. Like I would sit there
I'll go with you.
and read books on that like all the time.
But my
We'll go
dude,
together. Let's
My
go together.
dude, the mindset of a scientist is what makes the scientist the scientist. It's not the degree.
Yeah.
It's not the education. It is by a Western and even European perspective and global, even I guess human perspective. Like we qualify people as something.
Yeah.
But did Einstein have a master's degree?
Einstein was told that he was uneducatable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To the T. That's
But-
what they told. A teacher told him that. I was
But
like,
that is my point, like a structured academic education. And that's why I'm giving my dude over here so many mad props for like scooting out of school to do the shit
Yeah.
that he wanted to do. and saying like, nah, don't want the tie, don't want the collar, I'm spicy, you know?
I want that on a
Because
shirt.
Dude,
that's real, right?
I mean, there's definitely more complicated than that. But yeah, no, dude, I went through a lot of emotions dropping out of Penn State because it was an Ivy League school. You know, like
yeah, of course.
right out of high school, like yo, I'm not gonna fake the funk and say like I had like the best life or whatever. Like it wasn't like super hard. Like I mean, it was kind of hard growing up, but like I got into Penn State because of my grades and my SAT scores. It wasn't like I was able to pay the stuff. Like my parents are pretty okay. Like it wasn't like they were hustlers. That's what they did. My mom had 3 jobs, my dad had 2 jobs, and they would just like try to push it. So when I dropped out of Penn State to tell them that I wanted to go to LA to skate,
Oh, I understand that feeling.
yo, I didn't tell my dad for like 3 months. I was already back in California before my dad even knew. Like straight up. I was so scared to tell my pops. And then he's like, "Are you in California?" I was like, yeah. He's like, "Where are you in California?" I was like, "In Fremont." He's like, "You're in fucking Fremont? How long have you been here?" And he's super mad. But like I sat on like this hill at Penn State and like I cried because I dropped out of school. And as soon as I dropped out of school, it was like you have 24 hours to vacate the premises. Like
Oh, wow.
immediately,
Like,
like you're
get
not
out.
allowed. Like you got to get off the campus. And so I came back. I stayed in the Bay Area for like a couple months. And then my mom started working in the movie industry. And so I moved to LA with her. And it was just like, all right, that's what you want to do. You got to skate. Like, so I started going to skate parks and just meeting people. And then it like, again, like everything else in my life is kind of domino affected. Like I can talk to people and I can, you know, there was women, whether it's guys, whatever, like, yo, let's get it popping. Like if you're chilling, like I have the vibes. I definitely was an asshole early in my life. And that's kind of like helped me get to the point where I'm at, where I'm very thankful and grateful and appreciative of a lot of things. I used to be an asshole in the point where like, I wouldn't appreciate it. I was nice to the people that were loyal, but if you had like ever crossed me or you like did something, yo, I would like make you know. Yeah, that's what it was. Because I was as aggressive as I am now when I fight, but like it was like unwarranted almost. Like I felt like personally violated by you as a person. And then it took me like going through I broke my back. I broke my back and I dislocated
Humbling.
my hip.
You had to go through
super
something.
humbling.
You had to go through something that humbled you.
What was that?
Really?
It was that, and then like a lot of fighting, but not trained fighting. Like I was scrappy. I was like a young Mexican kid, like that, like Mexican Irish kid, I should say, because I'm half. But like it's I don't know, man. Like I used to wear like triple XL tees and like had the slits in my eyebrows and like the lined up my shit. Like, oh no, I was like about the life. Like I wanted that life. Like what you say now is like I wanted the smoke. Like I was always looking for anything that was like to prove myself and like in a more negative way.
Trust me, I understand.
Yeah. So, you know, that's what it was. And then once I started to like, I got humbled and like had to move back in with my grandmother at like 28. And, you know, I got my grandma knocking on my door like, yo, Gano, you want some chilaquiles?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, grandma. Yeah, the grandma, let me get some chilaquiles, you know, like, yeah. Like, or, you know, like, here's the pan dulce, but don't take the piggy. Your daddy likes the piggy. Like, all right, grandma. Like, you know, like, all right, you know, but
At
it's like
28 after a broken back recovery.
Yeah,
it's hard, dude.
dude, it was crazy. And then
My hat's off to you for that.
oh, thank you. But dude, the hip was worse.
Yeah.
The back I could deal with. The hip was so bad.
Yeah, I heard
Skate
that.
industry.
Was that?
Was a skate accident.
Yeah. So that's what I did for a long time. That's what my life was. It was just skateboarding, like living that life. But then, one fall, broken hip. Or dislocated hip, broken back. 28 years old. The doctor was like, "How old are you?" Like 28. It's like, dude, I've never seen a 28-year-old dislocate their hip. Like,
Damn.
so
That's a hard spoon.
It was crazy. It was crazy, but it all like worked out and it changed everything. And then it was mindset. But then, like, I had a podcast with you, Quantal, during quarantine.
Yeah.
And that was like,
I saw that one.
Dude, quarantine was like real quarantine, not like this new, like I know we're in the purple, but it's like we're going to all kind of get through it. It's fine.
Word.
But like the real quarantine was heavy for me because I went through a divorce and like everything like that. And Quantal has seen it all. Like Quantal went to my old house. He met my ex-wife, and like he's seen it from like the lowest points in my life to now where I'm like on the come up. Because like in all honesty, like, and I'm not, you know, mad respect to my ex-wife. Like I left her. I'll tell you straight up, like, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't fine, but like there was some things that had happened and like I wasn't okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it like I'll be the first to say, it's like, yo, it destroyed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it straight up destroyed me. And when Quantal had asked me to be on his podcast in the middle of quarantine, I was like going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I kept, when it was happening, I was keeping busy with all my fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, go work in coffee, go train. And then it was like, deal with it at night for like an hour. And then it was like, okay. But then in quarantine, it was like, yo, this is like, there's no avoiding it. And it started coming in like waves. And I like let myself get to a point where I was like, okay, if you're going to go there, you have to know you're going to bring yourself out.
Mm.
So I allowed it. I turned off my phone. I didn't talk to nobody for 3 days. And I like had the craziest, scariest, deepest thoughts that I've ever had in my life. And like, I told myself, okay, I'll go in on Monday. I have to bring myself out of this by Friday.
Mm.
You gave yourself a timeline.
Yeah.
I think that's really, I mean, just in that aspect, I think it's really important that you do that.
Yeah.
You allow yourself to feel it, but you also scheduled yourself like, I'm going to be out of it by this time, but I'm going to allow myself to go deep.
Oh, it was like, I've never been, I mean, like, I guess I could say this. Like, I've never been suicidal in my life, but I was definitely suicidal at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you have to know that you have to take yourself out of this, because it was like, everybody who knew me and my wife, like, I loved my wife. Like, I was that dude who was like, I want to get married. Like, I want to be a husband. I want to be a dad, all this shit. And it was popping. And like, I thought it was the most gangster shit ever to be like a like devout husband. Like, I thought that was like the business.
Yeah. I feel the same.
Yeah. And you know, it's like, I was like, cause I always look at dudes who were like not pumped on their wives. Like, oh, my fucking ball and chain. It's like, why are you gonna be like that? Like, yo, my wife was mad hot. Like, yo, I'll still say that.
I love you. I think this podcast is gonna go really well for you.
Dude,
seriously though.
Yo, I mean, like, on the real, like, again, I don't hate her, but I will say I appreciate who she is, and she's a beautiful person, and she's gorgeous on the outside. But like, things had happened, and it was like, I can't be here, which you know more. And I had to take the step away, and to do that was even, I think, almost as hard as like being the one who might have done the thing.
Right.
You feel me? So it's
I
like,
do.
you know, so it was crazy.
Totally.
And Quantal saw it. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of did like a Britney Spears almost. Like, I shaved my fucking head.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Yeah, he went.
This is just now growing back. Like, I was shaving my head like mad. Dude, I look so cholo. It was crazy. Like, my homies were like, bro, I could see the Mexican in you now. Like, yo, mad tough. Like, it was crazy.
He is going through it right now.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Damn.
But yeah, so it's all good.
Oh, hey, that.
Another trial.
Yep.
You know, as they say, and that energy field that we bring, like from that little fresh egg. You know what I mean?
Bring it back.
That little
bring it back.
energy field. But that's what makes us stable or sustainable in our own skin, regardless of the trials that we face.
Mm-hmm.
And the mindset, you know, maybe that coffee got you through it. Maybe the fighting got you through it. Maybe the idea of something bigger got you through it. I don't know what it was. In my mind, it's life or death, right? And you choose to live.
Dude, I could tell you exactly who it was, bro.
Yeah.
It was my 2 or 3 friends that I had. Like, when I was with my ex-wife, she's from Hawaii, and it was crazy. Like, we rolled so deep. Like, I've known my ex-wife since I was 19 years old. I'm 34 now.
Yeah.
We only got divorced last year. So I was like, all those people that I had met through my wife, and before I even met my ex-wife, I'd known them for 12, upwards of 15 years.
Yeah.
When we split up, 2 of them, I'm talking like 15 years deep. Y'all know who you are. If you listen to this, 2 of them out of like a group of like 40 people hit me up, and yet they'd all be on Instagram. Photos, they're all partying. Ain't nobody fucking like, they're all obviously, they know they're all with her,
Right.
and give a fuck about me. And so it was like, all right, cool. I see y'all. Like, I used to ride for you guys. Like, cool. I see where it's at. And dude, it was crazy is that like nobody even knew. Not one of them. Like, some people will still come up to me now like, oh, yo, what's popping? Like, oh, I heard this. Whatever. It's like, cool. Truth come out. I don't even need to say nothing, because like, obviously y'all just believe in some bullshit. Like, but then it was crazy is that like My
cracking me up,
dude, my best friend, like my first friend in San Diego, he was there the whole time. And he was like, bro, I'm here for you, whatever you need. And then like my homegirl Leov and then my homegirl Cass, like they didn't even ask what was going on. They were just like, yo, we got you. Like, we're here.
Word.
And then like, it wasn't even until months later and they were like, what happened? And I like told them. So I was like, yo, they didn't even know what happened. And then I actually told them what happened. And they were like, we didn't think that was the case. And I was like, yeah, nobody does. Nobody knows. And so it's fine. And I'll leave it at that. But it was like, then COVID hit. And it was literally like I can't even like see certain people. I wasn't rolling yet, and then I ended up rolling with our fight team again. And it was like, yo, like I would be in my house for like 4 days at a time, like not even walk out the front door, not go, because nobody knew what was happening. And it was like I had these 2 people that I would go out and see, and then it got to a point where like we were trying to socially distance, but I'd hang out with them. And then it was just like at a point, it's like, yo, we hang out all the time. Like, you think we can like be cool? And it was like, all right. And then like it was just them. And honestly, it's still just them. Like last night I was with all 3 of them last night. So it was the 4 of us and we were just chilling, drinking beers, talking shit. Like I don't need a lot of people, man. Like I think what this thing taught me, especially to your point, is like it's not about, my mom always says this, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
For sure.
Bro, I'll take 3 solid people as my circle than all these other associates that I know. Like because they were there when it was like when you were down and out and nobody was counting you in. It was just like, and they're like, come on, bro, like get back up, you know, kind of thing. You know, it's like, yo, you need those people in your life.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, dude.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah. No, that's good. Cheers to you.
Shout out to all the homies.
I'm definitely making a spicy shirt.
Dude. Yo, mad spicy. Yo, that's what's popping.
You know what? You just brought something up when you were talking about, you know, as far as you know, being in that point in your life, and you know, you really figure out like who your true friends are, and you know, it's something that it actually went back to actually something that. One of my favorite books is the Alchemist. Reese, I don't know if you read that before.
Pablo Coelho.
Yep.
All day.
Yeah, it just talks about being in the you know, one of the chapters in the story just was talking about the main hero being out in the desert and you know, figuring out how to make it. You know, and honestly, you know, through the course of the story, you know, he found I think he found a village, and you know, he found what was necessary in order to get to that next point. And I think that's what's really transpiring in all of our lives is figuring out, you know, we're in that desert. You know, we can use COVID. We can use, you know, a rough divorce, anything that's going on right now in our lives, and using that as, okay, we're here right now. We are knee deep in the stuff right now. And how do we make it? Like, how do we figure out ways to be resourceful enough to just take one step forward? And I think, honestly, that's what it comes down to. I mean, honestly, even in your situation, I mean, especially, and I can relate. I mean, I'm 17 years in, you know, I've been married 17 years, and
congratulations, man. That's fucking amazing.
But
really
I'm
awesome.
gonna be truthful with you. You know, COVID, you know, she was ready to. She's always been one of those where sometimes she can be, I'd say sometimes needy. And could be the opposite, to where like I don't need anyone, and sometimes that just sort of rubs the wrong way. And it's just one of those where yeah, she's about ready to divorce me a few times, you know, just through the course of COVID. And I think just emotions are high, you know, things happen, and honestly, I'm glad that I am a very patient person, because it's, you know, just one of those like, what are you talking about? Like, just settle down. Like, do you want a hug? And
That's a smart question.
yeah,
That's a really. Do you want a
But
hug? Yes,
I'm
I do.
telling
What
you,
are you trying to say, baby?
That's
You
good.
asked that. He knows that question well now. I love that.
I've been tested, and you know, it's I think it's just one of those. I think it's you know, obviously different for everyone, but everybody's been in those rough trials, especially now. And you know, you figure out a way to make it, and that's something where, you know, you see a lot of people that's, you know, posting stuff on Instagram and, you know, doing this or doing that, and I was like, you don't know real life yet.
No, yeah.
And I think with just hearing that testament and sort of knowing, okay, this man went through back injury, hip injury, a nasty divorce, in quarantine, isolated, about ready to kill himself, done turn into Full Metal Jacket, and you figured out a way to just go forward for the next day, and that is literally the only thing you can do. And that's part of your story. You go down the line and say Caffeine and Green is one of the hottest brands out and it's blowing up. It was because you took that step forward in your nastiest point in your life. It wasn't because of the great stuff that's happened. It's because of you just took that step forward when you literally could have stopped.
No, what it is, Quantal, I think it is like everything you said, but I think one thing that I do every single morning, like I listen to like motivational speeches. Like it's like collection, like a compilation of people. Like you throw some like Will Smith in there. You got some Les Brown. You got like fucking whatever motivational speakers. But what it was is like it really was just my 2 or 3 groups of friends, or my 2 or 3 people in my life. So I have my like little my boy Ray, who's been my G for long time. Same like me, like we related because he's half Mexican, so he's like, oh, say that. Like we're all hyped, like whatever. But then he skates, so it was like, hey, bro, you should come and skate. Like, let's get some beers and let's go like skate. And I hadn't really been on my board in a minute, and then it was like, boom, it was just through him, and it's like, okay, cool. And then it'd like be with Leov, and then I go run with Leov, or like, hey, we're gonna go roll in the backyard. Do you want to like roll with us? And I'm like, during this pandemic, you guys gonna roll? Like, she's like, yeah. And that was it. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, if y'all aren't tripping, like, all right, well, let's get after it then. And so then you go into rolling, and then it's like, oh, let's do striking and do sparring. And it was just like, all right, let's get after it. There's nothing like getting hit in the face to just kind of like put things in perspective.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially by some homies. Like my boy Brian likes to like fucking go.
Yeah.
Like he wants to scrap. And I'm just like, I love sparring with you, Brian, because like he won't hold back. Like you hit him, bro. Like you miss it you bob and weave one of his hands, and you just see that right above the head. Like, oh shit, I'm so glad I missed that.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know. I just think it's all mindset, right? It's all positivity. And like I say every single morning, like in gratitude, like I'm as thankful for the good things that have happened in my life as much as I am for the negative things that have happened.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't for the negative things, I wouldn't have grown, and I wouldn't have known and changed who I am to be the person I am today.
Yeah.
Yo, my grandfather, everybody hears me say this. My grandfather used to say, if you don't have tragedy in your life, you're probably not doing anything.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
if you
100%.
got your hands in it, and you got your head in it, and you got your life in it, you're going to hit tragedies. That's it, because you're putting yourself out there. You're wearing yourself on your sleeve, and that's what we got to do, right? Be ourselves as much as we can be. And we're going to hit some follies along the way and some trials for sure. We hope we do, for the reasons that you just explained.
Yeah.
Gross.
Because you got to grow and you got to be better. Because then especially when it's like super detrimental and super tragic, like I would definitely say how me and my wife ended was like tragic. Because especially for like the homies who knew us, like they were like, what the fuck? Like, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
But then it was like that was tragic. The way my skateboarding career ended, that was tragic. Like, goddamn.
I feel you.
Bricks. Like, son.
Tragedy.
But hey, it's the best thing that could ever happen to you
Because you were
it builds
sending
character.
it, dude.
Yeah, you
but
gotta
the thing
go.
is you were fucking sending it.
Yeah, you gotta go, man. You can't.
Sending it.
You can't be like laying on your deathbed, like looking at your like what could have been, and be like, at least I tried.
Yo, bro. So is that
Absolutely.
your
You feel me? Like,
is that your adult
absolutely.
energy field? That you are a sender?
Nah, I'm
Is
a
that
hustler
you?
motivator. Yo.
That's
I
what
want
I
to
mean,
get after
like-
it. Like I want to grind all day. Like when I heard Nipsey Hussle, no cap, no lie. Like this is what it is. Like when I heard him for the first time, I legit thought he was talking to me. Like, how people talk about, like, you hear an artist
Yeah.
and you feel like they're talking to you. That's how I felt when I heard Nipsey Hussle. He's talking about like circle got smaller, everybody can't go. Like, I was like, I spoke some things into the universe and they appeared. He's like, y'all scared, like, da 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 da. He's like, I spoke some things in the universe and they appeared. Like, yo, what? Like, dude, that's what I do every day. And then it's like, but you see where he came from, and like, he's rolling 60s Crip. He used to be a gangbanger, running the hood, doing these things, and then he switched and dedicated and made the like much like accountant to tattoo artist, hustling. And then, sir, you're just doing a bunch of stuff, like always wrestling, like graphic design, everything. So it's like you make that switch and you make them. That's like a mental mind shift, and then you take it and then you like apply it to your grind, and you like, I weighed the risk and the reward, and then I put my grind to this shit. That's like what another thing Nipsey said, and it's like, dude, when you hear these things, and like when I heard him, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
this is okay to be like this because
I'm
there's
on the
other
right path,
people
yeah,
like this.
yeah.
Like, that's what it is. I don't know.
Hang around more crazy people. I'm telling you, they'll rub off on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that's why I keep messing with Logan.
It's like the average. You're the
keep
average
planting
of your
stuff.
five friends. It's like when you think
Yes.
like you're the average of your the five people closest to you.
Yeah.
And I think in this moment now, and not to get your head all big, babe, but I do think that like I've never grown faster in a year. I feel like I've been challenged in such amazing and annoying like Twitch ways where you're like, oh, don't do that. I don't want to learn this way. But like where I've just learned and grown so much, and now I like thrive in growth. I thrive in the thick of it. I'm like, more.
Yeah.
Put me in more muck and mire and I will get through it. And I just, after you get through it sometimes and you get through so many of it, you're like, more. And then
Yes.
out of nowhere, you're like, growth. And then you start to lose the people that no longer, support the new you or the person that you're becoming. And then you're starting to gravitate more towards people that are on that wavelength and that level. And it seems that those are the people that get you through, and those are the people that help you learn, even though you might not want to hear what they have to say because it's something you're like, oh, I just don't want to hear it right now. It becomes one of the mantras in your life where you're like, fuck, I need to hear it. This is something I need to go through in order to get past whatever roadblock I'm having in my mind. And it is a mindset shift or hack, if you'd like. He loves to call it a brain hack, and I love that. And it's very scientific. I even think that I was talking to Terrence actually the other day, and he was like, brain hack, and it like moved him because it wasn't manifestation or another word that we utilize so much, but it's something.
The buzzwords.
The buzzwords that we know you're tired of, babe. But at the same time, it's like brain hack it's something that I really resonate with as well. And I think that that's what you've done. That's what we've all done to get into this point. Yeah,
you have to.
You know, I think kind of, and with little effort, I think it's easy to come back to Quantal's original point, is that adult energy field that carries throughout our life, I think maybe even, right? Which I don't know what.
Yeah, pretty much. I think pretty much everything that you will, change, transform into, or anything that, you pretty much will become is already done. You already have that sort of, from what the book is saying, you already have that field around you. And your job on this planet is to take your journey, write your story, figure out those steps, and figure out how everything sort of connects. That's something that I actually was talking about the same concept to my wrestling class after practice. And like I said, I told you I'm always talking to them after every practice, and I talked about that. All the things that you will become, or you're already built for. You already came into this planet already ready. Yeah. We just have to figure out ways to sort of get to that point. And and a lot of times if we get around people that honestly they sort of dim our light a little bit. You get around those people that say, hey, you can't do this, or you can't do that. You're not talented enough, or you're not pretty enough, you're not fast enough. There's all those little things that keep chipping away at you. All those little negative things that it sort of seeps in your brain and in your heart, and they find ways of just sort of keeping you down at a just a comfortable enough level to where if you really up leveled, it would be scary for them. And that's I've seen it happen.
But that's also like what Reese was talking about, like people start to like fade away.
Yep.
And what's funny is on that point, you can almost see it in real time now. Like, especially like with Instagram, right? Like you can see who likes your like not likes, but who views your story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could see like, oh, the numbers are starting to drop, or like you see certain people start to fall off because like, yo, you can offend people now by your hustle. They're like, yo, can you just like chill out? Like, what? Because you're not getting it? Like,
Yeah.
yo, like, my bad. Sucks for you, bro. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. You want me to fucking walk your hand through this? Like, I'm not going to feel bad for you if you're just sitting on your ass not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you got to go
send
and
them
get
to
it.
Reese's masterclass. That'll
Yo,
help.
there you
dude.
go.
Got
Get
it.
a
You know
what
master
I'm
class.
saying?
or are people sort of gravitating towards your or repelling or gravitating towards your Instagram story, or do they really know the real story? Like when I know your real story, and I know like what you had to sort of go through to sort of get to where you are now. I can't do anything but clap. I'm like, well, like, I'm glad he's doing this. He's got his clothing brand, got his podcast going, got his coffee finally up and going. He's out doing his thing. I can't even do anything. I can't even do anything but support you on that. Like why? Like why would I hate on that? Like because I know
But
your
see,
real
that's
story.
the thing, though. That's the thing. Is like you're never gonna. Yo, Nipsey Hussle said this. I know it's Nipsey Hussle, but like Nipsey Hussle said, he's like, you can never hate on somebody who's doing more than you because like, or somebody who's like trying to get it because like, yo, what are you gonna do? Like, and not acknowledge that? Like, no. Like only a person who doesn't have as much or a person that's a hater is gonna hate on somebody who's doing more than them. It's like, no. If you're trying to elevate and get to the next level, yo, all day, G. Like I have a little
Elevate
homie.
others.
Yeah,
If
always.
you want to elevate everybody around
Yo,
you,
you
man.
have to. Yo,
It's a
raising
community.
a
It's a
raising tide
tribe.
raises all ships.
It's a tribe.
You feel me? Like that's what it is.
For
Like
sure.
I'm on that level.
you
all
can
day.
give them. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink.
For
like,
sure.
Man, I
Yep.
was just talking about this today.
Yo, that's what it is. Like, I try to give my little homie, like my homie Caleb, he's like 18 or 19, but he's a skateboarder, yeah. But he's like, hey, Connor, can I talk to you about like I want to make a clothing brand? Like, all right, cool. He made the shirts. I gave him like a connect to his shirts. All right, there you go. Get your shirt guy. That's all good. It's little kid shit, like a young adult shit, I should say.
Right,
Like you
right,
just
right.
want to get your first brand out there. All right, cool. Do your thing, Pittman. Like, but then he asked me, he's like, hey, Connor, like, do you want a shirt? And I'm like, yeah, bro. How much? And he's like, oh, I give it to you for free. I'm like, nah, that's where you're wrong. That's where you stop right there. I was like, I know you want to hook up your homies, but $20, I will give you $20. Never sell your product short, bro. Like always make sure, like make sure the homies want to really support you. Don't just make sure they're getting free shit.
Right.
Make your money back. And then when it's time to actually be able to give like shit back to the homies, then give it back. He's like, well, in that case, like I'll buy one of your shirts. I'm like, all right, cool, bro. But like, don't worry about it. I was like, give me your shirt, $20. You earned that. It's your idea. Make sure you get paid. Like
Word.
that's what it is. Like you got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in a respectable way, but always look out for the homies.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, think about the airplane thing. Where do you put the mask on first? On you first,
Yep.
before you put it on your neighbor.
There
so
you go.
It's true.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is like you
Gotta-
have to.
You have to.
If you
but
have the
you're teaching
dream,
him a good lesson too.
yeah, and like, bro, make your money back, player. Like, come on, G. Like, you're not gonna make any money back if you're not doing that. And I was like 60-80% profit margin. I had to like break it down from like, you see this is your cost. This is what you cost to make it. Take a deduction. But what's it gonna cost to get you to 60 to 80%? He's like, about $17. I was like, $20. There you go, bro.
Yep.
Done. Like,
I wish I could go back because, like I said, I was in design school. Like I wish I can go back to a design program now and like just teach, how to sell yourself, how to sell product, how to sell your merch. Because I'm telling you, I came out, I had no clue. I mean, I just wanted to get a design degree, and oddly enough, I end up trying to do my own thing. And then, like I said, I had to learn the hard way. And now I can go back and say, hey, look. No, this is what you need to do, and I wish more people were able to teach that even in some kind of curriculum, or I guess either doing it online is.
Yo, let's start a school.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
man.
very
Yo,
tempted.
I'm
Hey,
on that.
let's start a school. You'll be the scientist.
teach a
No,
science
but
class.
really,
No, I know. I totally agree. I mean, even with me in tattooing, you just learn how to tattoo. If you get a mentor, if you're lucky to get an apprenticeship and get a mentor that actually wants to teach you how to tattoo, you're golden.
Yeah.
But after that, they don't give you tattoo business. They don't tell you how to market yourself. You just like, oh, my tattoos are going to sell themselves. Absolutely not.
Nope.
No.
It doesn't work that way. And so I've been on Instagram for 12 years. I've been a tattoo artist for 8 years. I'm just now getting the hang of it. And I'm like, fuck, I can't keep this to myself. So now I'm like, let me teach other people how to do it. And I'm in my class even today, right before our podcast today, and I'm teaching tattoo artists like how to market themselves on Instagram. And I'm like, you guys, I was like, screenshot all the shit, record what I'm saying, write it down. I don't care if you take it all, because I want you to have it. I
Yeah.
wish I had this when
Yeah.
someone was teaching me. I want you to get to where I am in way less time.
How good did
Yep.
that shit feel to say that?
Oh my God.
I'm serious.
Okay, and I don't want to be gross or nothing, but definitely felt really good. So I just, and then coming here. Sorry. Nope, we're not gonna go there. But no, when I got
You
here,
needed a sound effect with that. The zoom in shot.
literally, when I got here, I was buzzing. Like I didn't even bring a jacket. I was like sweating, so excited about what I just taught and how many people were just so stoked on it.
Sick.
That
Yeah.
like I was like, man, I got here and I was all, I need some water.
I want to hear more about this salamander egg.
No,
I'm
it just
serious.
Yeah, man. It just talked about even with the experiment. It just talked about he tested it even through the stage of the egg. It kept that fully grown adult until it became what it was supposed to become. And I think that's honestly I think that's true and he tested it with human embryos with all kinds of different organisms, and it already held the what it was going to be in its adult conception. And so yeah, I mean I think it's one of those where I think we come in sort of already knowing everything, and I think that's something I'm learning myself, and I find myself sort of just experimenting with this, with that. I've never really saw myself even doing a podcast. I've always been sort of a leader, just through sports and organizations, and I think even doing this podcast is sort of just a mixture of all the things that I love. I love getting insights from different people. I love seeing what other creators and entrepreneurs are doing, and I like seeing what makes them tick, and what sort of keeps them up at night sometimes, and what flutters their heart. And I think that's just something when we talked about this earlier, is like even this group is I'm the average of the people that I hang around with, and I think every time I talk to Kana, or I talk to Reese, or I talk to you, like every time something more gets absorbed in me, and then I can implement that in my life, and then share that out with others, and that's what I'm trying to get, and that's what I'm trying to teach others to do. Is even when I talk to my wrestling class, I'm like, okay, I say this right now, whatever I say, I want you to get to the point to where you implement it, you start to believe it, and then whatever I say, you need to share it to someone else. I was like, don't ever hoard it, don't ever feel like this word is for you. No, whatever I say to you, you need to share that with others, and that's how you keep that little circulation of positivity going.
Positive juju,
Yeah.
man.
So
That's
where
right.
it is.
I can't hoard it. If it's something that work, if it's a video that I listen to, or some kind of podcast I heard, like I got to figure out a way to sort of express that and share that out. And maybe even with my book, maybe all I'm doing is just getting certain philosophies and concepts and things, and all I'm doing is just simplifying the message to get people to relate to that. But yeah, even the things that we talk about, the blueprint, energetic blueprint, planting seeds, all that stuff is just a culmination of what the book that I'm working on. That's all it is. So
That's what I love about you, Quantal. I think that I was so excited when you invited me. I was like, can we do it at 5:30, please? It's just, I was so excited. And I rushed here. I was like, I'm not going to be late. But no, I really, truly feel really grateful that I know Logan in order to get to know you. And then we've had our own, you invited me on your podcast on a level where I was just like mind blown. And I think it was because of the fact that what you have to say and the way you say it is unique. It uniquely resonates with me. And I think that is for a lot of people. And so the more people that you touch or plant seeds, it's wonderful. It's like, I believe, and this is what I'm going to just say, I believe about all four of us, or all six of us actually in this room, but all four of us here talking right now, that we have something in common where we feel like our purpose maybe on this earth, or one of them is to give back more than we took.
Yeah.
And
100%.
so I
Yeah.
think that that's like definitely my goal in life, because I feel like I've already taken a lot. So so I'm ready to give back a little bit. But yeah, I think that, and I think that's exactly what you're doing, especially with your wrestling team, with your podcast, even what you say online, even when you like, even today when you commented on something of mine on Instagram, I fucking love this guy. He's so supportive. You know, you're always so supportive. And it's like, you, even with the thing in the back of your mind, like, she's got so many people commenting. She might not even see my comment, but the fact that you do it anyway, it just, I just
That's
love
a
that.
ride or die.
It's ride or die.
That's a ride or die,
It's a
homie. That's what's
ride or
poppin'.
die. And it
Yeah.
really, you feel that through that. You feel that energy
Yeah.
even through a phone.
Yeah.
And so I just had to give you some props for that.
Yeah, I gotta
really,
give you
really,
props
I love
too,
that
man,
about you.
because dude, I haven't met anybody like you before. You're not from this.
You're a superhero, man.
You're not
We
from
talk
this
about this
planet,
all the
bro.
time.
Hey, speaking of superheroes, I'm actually doing a little art project with I'm in partnership with a organization in San Diego called Creators Assemble, and they're actually doing a partnership with Make-A-Wish. So I'm actually creating a superhero style illustration for a kid that's got a fighting through cancer right now.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll be starting that in December. So it'll be a fun little project. I got to make a video and introduce myself to the kid and stuff like
Yes.
that. So,
That's awesome.
That is fucking badass.
Well,
I
let us
love
know
that.
if you
Yes.
need help working on the video, and if you need help on promoting that
Dude.
or anything.
Oh, yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
just
sure.
definitely
Sí,
let
sí,
us
sí.
know, because we want to. I will definitely help send that shit
Muy bien.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Me
Cool.
también. Yeah. Same.
cool.
Damn.
Dude, can I add to that real quick about
Yeah,
like just
please.
Yo, I don't know if you guys I don't think you might have heard the podcast, but so Quan's Hall actually
I have.
I was hella stupid. Like he came to Seven Seas and he like was like, "Hey, you guys like won this cup," and I was like managing the shop at the time, and I was like, "Cool, man. Yeah, thanks for the cup." And then he was like, "Can I get a latte?" And I was like, "Yeah. What's about the cup? Like what?" Okay, cool. And then like I gave him like a discount on the cup, and the owner of the shop at the time was like, "You should have given him the latte for free." And I was like, "Dude, I didn't even know about like him coming through. Like what happened to this and da da da." And then I was just like, "Well, like I don't know. I don't even know. I don't remember why I did, but I was like, hey man, like you want to come on my podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he came to my house, and like literally had only met him the one time at the coffee shop. And I remember even telling my wife, I was like, "Yeah, you know, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like, so just like chill, whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, cause she would my
So
ex-wife
just chill,
would just
babe.
yeah, my ex-wife would just like hang out in the back room, and I was like, you can totally hang out here. But she's like, no, I'm cool. Like, I'll be out here, whatever. And then like we end up having this super deep, like intellectual, like spiritual conversation where I was just like, after the podcast, I was like, Quantal, I think that was one of the best podcasts I've ever had, because it was so unexpected, and like just in talking to him and learning about him, and just like in that space and that time that we had, and it was like, dude, you're super rad. Like, yo,
Did we just become best
yeah,
friends?
like for real, for real. He asked, I don't remember now what it was, but he had asked me some crazy question that got us like on some deeper level thoughts, and I was
Word.
like, I was not expecting the conversation to go this way, like at all.
What I get on the outside of Quantal versus what you get on the inside is not the same. Like, you make me nervous. I've said that before. Because you're like a moving unit, a very capable moving unit. You know what I mean?
That's-
In your physical form.
You know, I get that all the time. Like people, I'll be scared to approach me until you start talking to me, and then
Well,
like
then
my
smile.
wife is tougher than me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where like I can be a pushover. Heck, I cry in movies. I cry in,
I cry all the
if-
time. I cry all the time.
Yeah,
I
so
cry in
it's like
movies too. Until I see Quantal doing pull-ups on the jungle gym down here with no shirt on the beach, and then I'm like, "What the fuck
Have
is
you
that?"
rolled with him? Have you rolled with him yet?
No,
Dude, his
No, are you
pressure
kidding
is
me?
tough. Like, yo, I'm mad skinny, but like I can move
Yeah,
like Spider
but
Monkey.
you don't want him to come full speed
But-
at you ever.
I mean, no. Okay, if we were to wrestle, no. Jiu-jitsu, I'll let him get close. Like, yo, let's get close. Wrestling though, like, nah. Like, I'm not trying to sprawl with this guy.
No, I feel you.
No.
Damn.
Yeah,
think the-
jiu-jitsu all day.
I think we've got a mad respect in the room for sure.
Yes,
my
yeah.
dude.
Definitely for
100%.
some
Mad
Quantal
respect for
action.
Quantal.
After you said.
Well, that's it. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm honestly, I wouldn't even be able to, get connected with any of you if it wasn't for the podcast. So, Yeah, it's just one of those where, or maybe I was supposed to meet with y'all. Who knows?
I think that one.
love
I think the
Um,
latter, not the former.
Yeah, so and that's also too something I told my group. I was like, everybody's coming from different backgrounds, different perspectives, different locations. It's like what were literally if you backtracked every step from the time you were born till now, like what were all the steps needed for us to connect with each other?
Yeah.
It can be a little weird when you think about that. Like all the decisions, all the yeses, all the nos to get to this specific point.
Mistakes.
I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of angles to look at this, but whenever I kind of start to think about it, it's an idea that I've been kicking around recently is that age, and I know people have said it before and we read about it and hear about it, but I don't think that age is really a thing. When you talk about that field, that energy field around the egg, right? I think that it's not that we already know what we're gonna be, or that it's already maybe it is the path is already written. But I've been playing with the idea in my mind anyway that maybe it's not so much about like the journey being defined or it's already written, maybe, or done, but maybe it's a sense of capability that we're born with that follows us forever. A sense of logic, a sense of problem solving as a human. As this species on Earth, your capability as a child, you learn like this when you're a kid, right? You learn like that when you're an adult, right? Your capabilities from the essence of a child, your awareness, your conditioning changes, your experiences will change and evolve you in ways, but the capability that's like a clean slate, like a canvas that's empty to be written on, but the capability and your awareness is still what it is throughout your life, your evolving life. And that is, in my opinion, like that means age is completely only relative to your physical form.
A construct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Age is only relative to your physical form, but your awareness sees no age.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
capabilities see no age, right? And that is your let's say we have no words to explain it. It's like your approach that's based on conditioning, how you respond based on conditioning, your next move based on conditioning, right? But if you strip all of that away, how old you are, how young you are, you're really an empty room that's putting furniture into a room that maybe it's a 100-year-old chair that you inherited, right? Maybe it's something new you bought from IKEA, bless your heart. I've done it. You know what I mean? It's going to fall apart. But it's all this stuff you're sticking into your room, right? But that's kind of what you're sitting on now in time and space. But your awareness is still the same. And your problem solving capabilities are still the same. You just now have furniture in the room as tools to work it out. Where are you going to sit when you figure it out? What are your tools? What is your conditioning?
I think you just that's a great point. You know what? When you talk about awareness, I think when people get a little bit more connected with their awareness, the solutions start to come quicker on anything. I think sometimes we don't. And I can relate this to jujitsu, to wrestling. If you're not positionally aware of where you're at in a specific time, you will get in trouble. And that's something to where I'm trying to practice more of that in my life is figuring out, okay, just having the awareness. I'm trying to get from this level to the next level. It's not the point that I don't have the capabilities to do it. It's just the awareness of getting to that. And if I figure that out, then the solutions come quicker.
That's genius.
But what about the dedication, though, too? There's the
Well,
dedication.
oh, yeah.
Specifically, yeah, the
commitment and
commitment.
dedication, but to what?
Yeah.
But to what?
The ultimate goal.
But
Is
right.
it getting to that next level? But I feel like that's just as important, though, because like specifically to use off your idea, Quantal, it's like the dedication to wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I mean, specifically jiu-jitsu. It's like you cannot afford to miss days. If you want to get to that next level, you have to get through the pain. You have to get through the mental fortitude, or like just like the mental resilience to be able to commit it to memory and to do these things, and then in congruence with doing everything that you're talking about, because like it also takes
condition the
dedication.
mind
Yeah.
beyond only conditioning the body. The body can break. The mind will choose if the body stops when it breaks. It's compliance to pain through joint manipulation, airflow, blood flow. That's the science behind it. But you can't break the science down without the practice, without the commitment, without the dedication. I fully understand, fully get it. But all of that stems down to one very, very simple thing, is that we were made for this fucking place. We are problem solvers beyond any problem solver that the universe has seen that we fucking know about in every generation of the human species as we fucking know it. We're the best problem solvers on Earth.
Yeah, and I think
in the universe.
and I think it really just comes down
Definitely
to
would think the planet for sure. I don't know, but I don't know, because I think there's so much more out there that like, dude, I think there's like something way more complex than us out there.
I'm
like,
totally open to it. Totally open to that. But show me that.
I feel you on that.
Show me that in the last 2,000 years or 5,000 years that have you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
And I'm about it. The thought of it, I can create anything in my mind.
You're open to it. However, the evidence as we know it now,
I hope
is
it is.
we are the best problem solvers in the universe.
That we know of.
As we know
that we
it
can
now.
put our
No,
finger
yes,
on.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not seeing buildings and planets and podcasts hanging, from other countries tuning in right now.
I'm super down.
You
if
feel
they
me
were,
on
though.
that?
Yo, shout out to the universe.
Word.
Yeah, right.
Have
Tell us
someone
where
drop
you
in.
at.
But I think that's the energy that we carry with us from the baby salamander through life, is that the essence of us is that spatial awareness that we can tap into when we're committed to apply that awareness to whatever it is that we are applying our physical form to. For example, art. For example, your fucking hustle, right? Whatever that is right now.
Coffee roasting.
It's coffee, right?
coffee.
Right.
But it could be anything. You could
Oh,
apply that
100%.
to
Oh, yeah.
anything, and you know that you.
But
could
it ends
succeed
up
at
being
it.
your
Yeah.
hustle, but you are
Yeah.
capable for
Mhm.
whatever reason, like whatever little tips along the way that ma or dad or whatever sent you in a direction, or the life course that you took. But that energy field, to your point, it sees no age.
no.
It sees no it sees no trials. It is built. I'll quote Jesse Owens. I said, this is a complex world we live in. He goes, yeah, we're complex beings. We were built for this place.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
We have brilliance. We carry brilliance with us and our commitment. I love that you said that, dude, because that's where it is. When you gave yourself 5 days or whatever,
Yep.
till Friday,
Till
a
Friday.
date, right? You knew you were capable.
Of getting
You
out
knew
of
you
it.
had
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
knew you had it. You're like, I need to go deep.
I need to go deep to get like through this,
And
get
even
done
the
with it.
capability to go deep.
Oh,
Some people want to
have
fight
to.
that, and then all of a sudden they're like backing up and whatever. But instead, you were like, I'm capable of going deep, and I'm also capable of bringing myself out of it.
I will be
I think it's
100%
wonderful.
transparent here. I was smoking so much weed that like I was like, this is not conducive to me smoking. Like
Word.
it's gonna keep fucking up my high. So
Word.
like you gotta embrace this.
I'm
just being real. Like,
Motive.
I'm just being real. Like, I
motive and
was-
capability, baby. That's
I
all
wanted
you
to get
need.
back to being high and just like enjoying it.
That's
instead
the
of like
carrot,
thinking
bro.
about it and like
That's the carrot and the
fuck,
horse,
like-
man.
Yeah.
Just hold the carrot in
The
front of the
motive.
horse's mouth, and he'll figure out, don't give me the carrot. Yeah, I'm gonna go deep and come back. I'm gonna enjoy that
Then I'll
carrot way
really
more.
enjoy that
Way
carrot.
better.
Yes, like Walmart $8 bottles of fucking huge wine and weed. That's like what got me through it. Like that's,
Word.
yeah, a lot of wine, a lot of red
Whatever
wine.
it takes. Whatever.
I
it
did not
takes.
become an alcoholic, but I definitely started drinking more during COVID. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was like, Jesus. All right.
Well, yeah, I think we could probably be conversating on some things for another hour or so.
We sure could.
And I don't want to get in trouble with my wife. She's texting me, "Where are you at? Are you done yet? Are you done?"
Can you be saying that on podcast? Does she listen? Don't get yourself.
She
in
does
trouble.
sometimes.
Yo, shout out.
She
shout
gets
out.
she gets on me. She's my drill sergeant. I'll record something. I have to make sure like she's she's away because she's always like, you should stop saying this, stop saying this, stop saying this. Like, you should have did this.
Dang.
And
I like it.
and
That's good, though. You
I was
need
like,
that.
I was like, just get away from me.
He's
I
like,
like
I
it.
like it. I was all year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that can be my my challenge at times, where I can be I'm very persistent and stubborn, and sometimes I can be too stubborn. But I am aware of that, and that's something that I'm trying to improve upon. I think with my adult salamander energy, I'm always going to be stubborn, and I think that stubbornness helped me to get where I need to go. But at the same time, too, I still need to balance that out and say, okay, look, now we need to get to the point, keep that stubbornness, but now we have to sort of figure out how do we evolve, and how do we perhaps unlearn some things that we've been learning for the past, 40 years of my life. Now we have to start unlearning certain things, and with good examples with age, or with heck, concept of time, all kinds of things. We have to start learning to unlearn a lot of things so we can bring something new in. And so I just sort of allude that to oil and water. I can't keep adding oil to water and feel like that's going to mix, and it's not. Yeah. So I think that's my scientist in me. I said I've always wanted to be a scientist. I'm gonna come in here next time.
I support
just
you.
Just call me Dr. Langford.
Dr. Langford.
Yeah,
Dr.
that
Langford.
is a great name.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's,
pretty
like,
much sealed
perfect.
right there.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Like Dr.
Perfect.
Dre, but you're Dr. Langford.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
I
dude.
like how the
He's
Mixing.
a
correlation
doctor of
happened.
nothing, but
Yeah.
he's a doctor of everything.
Of everything. Word.
Yeah. feel that.
That'll be my new podcast there.
All right.
Little side thing, Dr. Langford. Come
Season 27.
Yeah,
Dude,
Dude, I know.
hey.
Friday Night Talks with Dr. Langford.
Dude, Dr.
It could be
Phil
like a-
is wait, what is his name? Dr. Phil? Is it Dr.
Yeah.
Phil? He's not a doctor.
Yeah, I know.
He's not.
He's not a doctor.
You just blew my mind.
Just saying.
Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Bruh, my whole life has been a lie.
You're onto something, Quantal. Dr. Langford, you're fine.
Yeah.
Nobody will care. Nobody
I
will care.
had no idea, dude.
Swear to God.
You just, wow.
Or my other idea I had was instead of Dr. Langford, I had right on cue, and that was
Right
Dude,
on
that's
cue.
actually
That
pretty
is
tight.
So dope, dude.
yeah.
I like
That's
right
You're
on
a
awesome.
marketing
cue.
genius
Yeah.
Yep.
for yourself.
I like that.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, that's something I've been sort of playing around with. I might do something for next year. I might play around with that. But other than that, we'll end this with creative tips, and we'll go around and do the creative tips, and then I think we'll call it for an episode. Creative tip. Start with Logan. What is a creative tip that you can provide our audience?
Send it. Every time.
Sick.
Send it. Don't question it unless it hurts people, things, Mother Nature. That's bad. So stop sending it if you're fucking doing that. But at the end of the day, yeah, send it, man.
Yeah. What about you, Reese?
I mean, that's a really hard one to follow up with, considering I think that's all of our mottos in here is just to fucking send it. But for me, honestly, as far as creativity, and as being an artist and a fine artist, actually, I would just say, yeah, follow your dream. Just go for it. And whether, a lot of people always wonder as far as, you were saying earlier, like, don't quit your day job or anything like that or ruin anything in that regard. But at the end of the day,
Quit that fucking
quit
day
that
job.
Yeah.
fucking job. You know what I mean? Yeah, because
I back that.
it's just go for it. You only have one life, YOLO. You only live once. So just send it and everything is going to work out. It really, really does if you truly believe it. And just send it. Yeah, I'm with Logan.
What about you, Kana?
I would have to say, like, again, just trust yourself. That's like the most gangster shit you can ever do in your life, in my opinion, is like really invest in yourself, trust that you know what you're doing. Because I feel like I was just talking about this the other day. It was like people have the hardest time really believing in themselves. They rely on others to believe in themselves. And at the end of the day, you're the only person who has your back. If you really feel that people are fucking with what you're doing, trust that and go with that. And it's not going to be amazing the first month, the first couple months, the first year, but eventually somebody will pick up on your vibe because you have so much confidence in yourself, not cocky, but confident in yourself, and you trust your process, you trust in what you believe, and you trust in what you can create. When you exude that, people are gonna like follow, and that's what it is. And it's, I don't mean that in like a negative way, like they're gonna follow you, but it's like they're gonna believe in what you believe in the sense where, like, yo, this dude can do it, or this girl can do it, or they can do it. It's like
you're creating an impact.
yeah, you're making a difference in other people's lives, and you're motivating them. And like whether it's, I'm a big believer in like telling people how you feel about them, like especially now, like with after COVID was like a big thing for me, like during quarantine, because I was like, again, I hadn't left my house in like 4 days, so I would make sure that when I talk to my homies, I'd be like, yo, I love you, or like, you good, you take care, like how's your homies, like how's your mom, how's your pops, how's your brother, sister, whatever, woo woo, like just make sure that all of that connects. So when you fucking with people, and especially people that you love, like, hey man, like, oh, I love you. Like, how you doing? You all right? Cool. Pop's cool. All right, tight. Like that, I think is just as important for me in being creative, but knowing that like my friends have my back, and you get the ride or dies in your life that are like, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even need to know what happened. I know that you're good, so I'm there for you. And at the end of the day, when you find out that like it was a shitty thing that happened to you, as opposed to you doing it to somebody else, like, you're not dwelling on it in a negative way. You're just like, damn, you came through that? That's what's popping. Like, props, So it's like, I think for me, that creative process is just trust yourself, invest in yourself, invest in the people that invest in you. Like, just trust that process and trust those people, and just love,
I support that fully, man. The people around you are important, and I struggled with that for a long time, like trusting people, letting people into your process. You know what I mean? It's like, my walls have been up for a long time, and it's really nice to hear other people say that they look to other people for guidance, for inspiration and things. And I was always like, looking to myself for this.
You can't be in a bubble, man. That's what I learned,
Yeah.
Like, yo, shout out to my homegirl Leov. Like, just real quick, sorry, I know we're trying to go, like, but like,
No,
she's one of my best friends, hands down, and like I connect with her on such a different level that like, we like, when I look at things, like when I'm designing stuff for Caffeine and Green, or like we're roasting, or like my pro fighter, shout out Tyler Schaefer, she's the best. She, like, I'll design the back of the shirt and I'll design the front of the shirt, and I'll be like, damn, this is tight, but like I need like a second pair of eyes. I know that in my process. So like I'll be like, yo, Leo, let me see this. Like, yo, can I show you this? And she'll be like, what do you think? And she's like, well, what about this? What about this? And like things I can't even see because I've been looking at it, and I'm like, yo, this is mad dope. But then you like let somebody else have an unbiased eye, but they support what you're doing, and they look at it and they're like, yo, this looks sick, but like, how about you switch it out like this and you do this? And then it was like, yes, like, hell yeah. And then sometimes it's like, nah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But then at the same time,
you still trust in yourself in that moment.
Exactly. You're trusting yourself in that. But it's like, when they do say something, you take your ego and you take your, like, what you want out of it, and you look at it from an this person who I trust what they said really had a pretty big impact on like the final product. And I think you need that because it's balance. You're not in your own head. You're not in your...
It takes a whole crew to produce a show, bro.
Exactly.
It takes a whole crew to produce a show. We're not in this bubble alone.
Nah, hell no.
I'm figuring this out.
Yeah.
I'm figuring this out.
You need people.
Yeah.
Straight up. So that's just trust the process. Trust your homies and trust yourself.
Well, I guess my creative tip would be just keep planting seeds. It's just one of those to where something my granddad taught me when I was younger, and I can plant those seeds. I can do everything necessary, but sometimes you're going to be in that season where it's not your time to shine yet. Sometimes your season may be supporting others. Sometimes your season may be to harvest. So figure out what season you're in. Figure out ways to keep planting those seeds, and share light, share love, share creativity, share inspiration, and support others, and let others know that they can be great, and let them know what they've come on this planet, and maybe they've forgotten down the road. Maybe we're just here to help remind them and let them know that, hey, look, you already have it. You already have everything you need. I'm just here to let you know that. So that's my creative tip, is just keep planting seeds. But hey, other than that, thank you to Cobo Pod. Another quick shout out, Cobo Pod, great partner of mine. And this is honestly a natural evolution of when something crazy like COVID can happen, and having a spot like this sort of transform into what it is. I think the idea was already there. The awareness of it, I think it had to take something like COVID to sort of transform this to what it is. And like I said, been a great partner of mine, been able to produce, high quality episodes. I keep getting compliments on it all the time. People like, oh, your video looks so great. That's Cobo Pod. I have nothing to do with that.
Appreciate that, man.
But yeah, other than that, this episode will be out in the next couple of weeks. And so, like I said, thank you to Kano, Reese, Logan.
Thank you, Quanton. Seriously, man.
Yeah, thank you, Jake.
So
Appreciate
you're the
it.
man.
You are the man.
You're the
That's right,
man.
Q. That's right, Q.
That's right, Dr. Langford.
I want to see that on the front of a book next
Yeah.
publication.
Yeah, no.
Can't wait.
For real.
DBA.
Yes.
But other than that, hey, be creative, stay inspired. Thank you. And that's
Peace.
it.